Gardner-Webb head coach Cris Reisert, the team coming off a win at Presbyterian, the first of the season for the Running Bulldogs. Now they're going to have an association game. They're going to host Tennessee Tech on Saturday. So, Coach, just some thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, proud we found a way to win. It's good to win a football game, and it's hard to win a football game like we were talking about. And so I think anytime you get a chance to, like in our situation, overcome a little bit of adversity, we were in the control of the game early, and made it a 21-14 game going into half, and then able to kind of take full control over it as the game went on. I think that was really important for our football team. We've been in to date 3 really close games in weeks 1 through 3, and so our guys kind of learning how to win and having that feeling, I think, was really, really important for our program.
You've obviously won other games in your coaching career, other places, but I just want to know, what's it like to win game one at this stop, and just what it means for this program?
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. It's I don't know. I don't know if it's anything more than a win, because wins are always just, they light you up. There's nothing like it, nothing like a winning locker room, nothing like being able to celebrate with the guys and to enjoy, the efforts that went into it. But no, we're excited that we had a chance to win one, and now it's just full steam ahead. Let's go get many more, and hopefully it emboldens us and gives us some confidence moving forward.
I wanted to ask about some of the individual performances. Your rushing game, 247 yards. So Carson and Cris, 134, 132, 5 touchdowns. Just it seemed like everything was going right rushing.
Yeah, no, those guys stepped in huge. Our starter was out, and we don't know how long we'll not have him. And so those guys stepping in and doing some really, really good stuff, I thought was key. Carson played lights out. Quayshawn played lights out, broke a ton of tackles. They were guys that allowed us, along with our offensive front, to really control the game late into the fourth quarter. And I think you saw that's a pretty cool way to be able to finish and do it that way.
You alluded to this a little bit, but they set the tone too, because it's 21-0. Then, and you talked about those close games you have played. Not that you're relaxing, but because it didn't end up being 21-14, does it feel good to get that quick start that way and put some scores on early?
Yeah, no, I think, we've started okay. It's been, for us, it's the middle of the game where we've got to be able to maintain focus and an edge. And so I think it was another example of us. We start well, we finish fairly well. It's like that middle lull that as coaches we really working hard to establish a consistent focus and energy all the way throughout a practice or all the way throughout a game. And I think that's that missing link for us right now that we've got to be able to capitalize on. And once we get that figured out, I feel like we're on the right track. In order to play a complete 60-minute football game, I think we're a dangerous team.
So turn your attention to Tennessee Tech comes to your place. They also have a first-year head coach. So they played, like you, they played 2 FBS opponents, and then this past week. So what have you seen from them and on the film?
Yeah, good football team. Coach Wilder and his staff do a great job. I think they're sound at all 3 phases. They play with effort. They play with really good energy. I think they've got really solid players. They had a ton of returners from this past year, but also they brought in some really talented newcomers, and I think they did a nice job balancing out the roster. And so we have our hands full for sure. Certainly they had 2 of the FBS games early and had a chance at Middle Tennessee State, and Georgia's a bit of a different breed, and then played a really good football game against Tennessee State last week. And similar in our world, they found a way to win late with the pick 6, and I think they've got to have some confidence and some momentum coming into this week. And so it's a deal where we'll have to play our best football game to give ourselves a chance. And we have a ton of respect for those guys, but also really looking forward to the test and to the opportunity, and anxious to be back home. This will be our first home game in 4 games. And so I think our guys are ready to do it at Spangler, and hopefully have a great crowd and be an awesome day.
I'll ask you about the home advantage in just a second. Tech had a 54-yard run. They had a big interception return. How do you go about limiting big plays on your opponent? It seemed that was the difference maker for Tech this past week.
Yeah, 1,000%. No, I mean, shoot to win it right late in the game. They got a pick 6, and Kid made a great play, and that was huge. They had a couple other big plays that I thought were the difference in the game, and they're an explosive football team. for us, as part of our plan to win is to be able to win the yards per play. In order to do that, you got to be able to negate some of those big plays and also negate some of the negative plays on offense. And I think their defensive front does a nice job of forcing you into some negative plays on offense. And so you got to mind your P's and Q's there. And certainly they've got some explosive kids in their backfield, really like their backfield room. And I think the quarterback does a nice job creating with his legs. And so we just got to play sound, football. I think if you play a game of clean eyes and great communication on both sides of the ball, I think it's going to help you. And so we've just got to make sure that we're focused for 60 minutes. And they're an explosive football team. When you play them, just one small slip up can ultimately be the difference in a game. And so we've got to make sure that slip up doesn't happen on our side.
So your first home game was a Thursday night. So now you're getting a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
A coach got this question earlier. Like, what time would you like to play? What's a good time? Middle of the afternoon? Is that good for the coaches? Is it good for the players, the fans?
I'd like to play at 10 a.m. Yeah, if I could choose, I'd play at 10 a.m. and get up and have some coffee and go play a football game. So no, the earlier the better for me. But I'm well aware that it's about butts and seats, and it's about creating a cool experience for our fans and for our recruits. And night games do that. Late afternoon games do that. It creates an environment around a football game, which certainly is part of why our sport is so popular. And so if I had my druthers, selfishly, just for Cris Reisert, it'd be no later than a 12 p.m. kick. But I fully understand that it probably can't be that all the way.
That's what Coach Matukowicz said too. Earlier the better for him, and the players don't get up; they want to play late. So same answer. We'll end with this then. A little bit more in that atmosphere, because again, you haven't been at home so long. When you go on the road, you learn how to, like, here's what we're doing on the trip. Here's how do you minimize distractions though? Then when you're at home, like they're doing their normal routine, how do you make that home game? Hey, this is a business opportunity. How does that sort of work with it?
Our away games have been a bit unique where, we've been at Charlotte and at Presbyterian. So we've been at home Friday night. The last 2 weeks, we've been, waking up in our own bed on Saturday morning. And so we've kind of been in that world where you're having to minimize, right, a lot of the external things that can get in the way of winning a football game. And so I think we're well versed in that. Certainly when you have a home game, you have other administrative things that pop up. You have families, you have tickets, you have a lot of the other minutia that sometimes can get in the way. And so as a coach, you have to kind of get some of those things out early in the week. And we've got a great director of operations that handles a lot of that. And we'll be focused and we'll be ready. And we've had some work at it.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again this time next Tuesday.
Thanks, Kyle.